What's going on, my beautiful black people? It's God Molecular, here to spread the religion of Mofadai, which is the religion of no religion, here to dismantle and disassemble all religion by the year 2034. I thank y'all for tuning in. I come as Amen, reincarnated this new age, that of the 226th dynasty, which stemmed from King Solomon, who held a descendant by the name of Haile Selassie I, who occupied that of the 225th dynasty. Three salutes. Ready? Go. And that is in tribute to Amen, as he was known as the Most High and the most logical being or deity at his time. I come as him reincarnated to usher in the new age of Aquarius, also known as the age of the Six, as we have transpired from the age of the Pisces, also known as the age of the Seven. And that is as of August 21st, 2017, titled Day of the Great American Eclipse. And that is by World News, and it can be researched and looked up. Thank you for listening, my beautiful black people. I want to get into revolution and economic discussions, because a lot of black people, a lot of my beautiful black Al-Kabunakians, we seek a revolution. We're looking for revolution. And in order to validate that revolution, you have to know about economics, which is most important. You have to understand this. My beautiful black people who are young, the young, beautiful black Al-Kabunakians, you are full of life. You're full of energy, is what they like to refer to it as. But you're economically distraught, right? Young black individuals, they do not know how to economically place themselves in a better position in order to revolutionize themselves. They aren't able to do things of this nature because they lack the knowledge. They lack the proper education. And you have to understand that that is implemented upon you by a seemingly invisible government. This is called oppression. You have to understand oppression and what oppression means. So we have to discuss these things very, very adamantly. We have to come to understand them and what they mean. We have to come to know them. We have to come to look into them. And we have to, most importantly, display discipline, my beautiful black people. You have to display discipline. Discipline is the definition of order. And everything happens for a reason, and also in order. Everything. So, to get yourself correct and to get yourself into understanding, you have to adamantly be disciplined, my beautiful black people. A lot of people ask me, how do I get the knowledge and information that I receive? How do I get these things? Where do they come from? They come from discipline. Start with reading books. There's young individuals, black individuals who are 19, 18, 17 years old. They seek to reach an economic stability, sense of stability. They seek to understand themselves economically, right? Because they want to do things in life that requires for them to be financially stable, right? But the most important thing is to understand that you are a revolutionary by heart, by being a black individual. And I say this because you have it within you to overcome anything. Doesn't matter what it is. And that is a revolution. And you have to understand that, my beautiful black people. So what is a revolution? The ultimate revolution to come about in this time is the revolution of the Al-Kabunakian people, Mofadai, the religion of no religion, as we take this entire country, which is known as the United States of America, first. We take this entire country over by understanding socialism, understanding how to get a word out. And this is going to be spiritually done, right? We're going to hit the consciousness of people each and every time that we open our mouths. Why? Because the consciousness is what's important. It determines what the soul needs. That's what's most important. It determines what the soul needs. And you have to get shit like that understood. You can't be you can't be weak in this reality. You can't be weak. You can't not have structure. You can't not be intelligent. Intelligence can get you anywhere. And that's very imperative for you to understand as a young black person, right? I speak mostly to the youth because the youth have the potential to do anything. All black individuals have this potential, but there's a specific potentialist movement within the youth, right? Especially when it comes to money. You have us out here killing ourselves like fucking animals, right? You have us out here fucking slaughtering ourselves left and right because we do not understand what we are. We do not understand intelligence is something that we should not be ashamed of. Display your intelligence. You don't have to go out and kill. You don't have to do anything illegally to achieve financial stability. And these are the ones that I speak to. Those brothers and sisters, my beautiful black fucking El-Kabanakians that are in the hood. People that have nothing. People that are poor. These are the ones that I speak to. These are the ones that I seek to reach the hearts of. Right? Because our people are of the mass majority of this people. Right? A majority of us are fucking broke. We have no time to sit around and do things because we are worried about ourselves financially. But what's most important is to build a revolution. Understand what a revolution is, because you have to overthrow your government. You have to overthrow your government. So when you study Article 1 of the Constitution, Section 9, Clause 8, it talks about the title of nobility. Now, this simple clause itself within Mofadai, the religion of no religion, this is going to be the mass overcoming of everything that's going to be implemented when it comes to a revolution. This simple clause is all we need and all we have ever needed within any law of the United States of America to completely take this country over and to form a revolution. Know what a revolution is. If you study this clause, it talks about the title of nobility and what that title holds. But what's important is, why is this even mentioned in the United States Constitution? Why is the title of nobility even addressed in the United States Constitution? That's what's most important. We have to understand that. Someone has to reach the title of nobility, and I, Amin Ra, I am that person. I'm going to reach the title of nobility by you, my beautiful black people. The Al-Kabunaki and Mofadai is going to be what you accept. You are going to eat, sleep. You're going to dream it. You are going to make it real. You're going to turn this dream real, my beautiful black people. This is what you're going to do. And it's going to start slowly but surely, just as every other strong, powerful, conclusive revolution starts slowly. But you have to accept the knowledge. You have to accept the understanding. You have to be humble. You have to humiliate yourself in that understanding and accepting that understanding as everything that you know. Let it take you over. Let it consume you. And you're going to allow it to take you over because it simply makes sense to do so. And thus there's going to be momentum, right? Momentum is going to form and everyone else is going to start to follow. If you look at social media, you have followers on social media, correct? Every last young individual from the age of 19 to 25, you understand what a follower is in some way, shape, form, or fashion. As a black young individual, you understand what it is and you understand what it means. You know what a follower is, right? Take pride in being a follower yourself. There's a bunch of people, a lot of us follow as young people on social media, right? As a 28-year-old brother, I follow people, I follow things because it's the social way to implement myself in today's time. This is the social order to follow people. I myself am a follower, just as you are and should be, a Mofadai, the religion of no religion, right? So a lot of young black individuals, a lot of us as young black individuals, and understanding that clause, I want to get back to the clause that's stated in the United States Constitution. But a lot of young black individuals, they seek to get themselves economically correct. And so you have knowledge, right? Knowledge is what is, knowledge cannot be taken away from you. The things that you know cannot be taken away from you. The things that are inside of your mind cannot be taken away from you. If you have the knowledge of how to become rich, you have the knowledge of how to financially stabilize yourself, then you have more than anything that you can have or imagine on this planet already. More valuable than gold, more valuable than money, more valuable than credit, more valuable than life itself is with knowledge. And that is where it starts. You have to have the knowledge. Having knowledge to know how to get yourself from the ground upwards, from nothing into something is important. It's not hard, it's simple, something that's very simple, right? It's simple and it should be understood as something that's simple. Sorry about that, my beautiful black people. I thought I turned that off. But it should be understood as something that's simple, right? Because that's what translates to people's common sense of self. The fundamental, the basics of things of that nature. If you was to ask someone right now economically, this is just economically speaking, we're going to get into economics and revolution, of course, and all those things. But if you ask someone right now, what's more important than money? Right now, economically speaking, what's more important than money? A lot of people will say nothing, you know? A lot of people will reply with nothing. Nothing is more important than money. Money runs everything. You need money for everything. You need money to maintain yourself. You need money to live. You need money to do for others. Money, money, money. That's what everyone will reply. Most people, most of us, as young black individuals. But the Al-Kabunaki understand that economically speaking, credit is more valuable than any form of money, any sense of money whatsoever. Credit gets you further than anything in the economic field, financially, than anything else on this planet. It is the most valuable sense of economics, credibility. Credit. Understanding credit, how to utilize credit, knowing what credit is what's important. You know, I've spoken to a lot of young black individuals, right? And I asked them something as simple as, what's your credit score? You know, 19, 18 years old, you know, working, a lot of them have jobs. I asked them something as simple as, what's your credit score, right? And the response is astounding to me because it's for the majority of us, for the most part. The response is astounding to me because it's not known, right? They don't know their credit score. They don't know what credit is. It's not focused on credit. Credit isn't the focus, my beautiful black people, my beautiful young Al-Kabunakians, my beautiful young black people. Do not focus on credit. When credit runs the world, you have to learn credit. You have to know what credit is. There's no way that you should be anywhere near your 20s and not know what credit is, not know that it's more imperative to have your credit correct. Your credit score should be well known, more than your social security number. You should know your credit. You should understand your credit. You should know your credit score like the back of your hand because credibility is all you need to achieve financial stability, to stabilize yourself financially. All you need to know is how to utilize credit. That's it. In the words of Jay-Z, what's more important than throwing money in the strip club? What's more important than throwing money in the strip club? Credit. This is a billionaire, speaking of black billionaire, a black billionaire brother who told you this. He's giving out this information, you know. This brother says credit. What's more important than throwing money in the strip club? Credit. Take away the strip club, what's more important than money? What's more important than money? Credit. That statement, if you took away strip club out of that statement, it will say, what's more important than money? Or throwing money? Credit. Understand what your credit is. Know how to fix your credit if damaged. Easy things that can catapult you into economic success. Right now, you only need a credit score of about 620 to 630 to be determined as economically rich. And this has been since 2017. A credit score of 620, a credit score of 575 can get you a $30,000 small business loan. A credit score of 575 could get you a small business loan. Those who understand credit, you understand what I mean. So as a beautiful black young person, turn yourself into an Al-Kabunakian and understand credit. How do you start credit? What is credit? Credit is loaning money from someone, spending it, and paying it back on time. That's it. That's credit. Loaning money from someone, spending it, and paying it back on time. That's all credit is. You have things like Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. These are the three major bureaus, right? That determines your credit score. That determines whether or not you're going to drive a Benz in high school, a Bentley in high school, a Tesla, anything that you want, any car that you can think of, Lamborghini in high school. Three major bureaus determine this right now in the United States of America. And that's TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. I believe Experian being the biggest of the three, if not TransUnion, the most utilized. Equifax being the largest of the three, the most utilized. Knowing your credit. Now, you have all these people who's going to get into the FICO and things of that nature, which is important. But as a young person, learn that fundamental of credit. Once you fix your credit score, you can economically start to achieve what you will, what you want, what you desire. Right? As a beautiful black person, as a beautiful black young individual. I'm talking to those from 19 to 25 years of age who don't have this knowledge. Now, in today's time, you can do things like hiring a lawyer, hiring a local credit repair company that's well known. I know that in Orlando, Florida, a lot of people have heard of Lexington Law Firm in Orlando, Florida, which is a great law firm to fix your credit score. Now, you can either try to attain credit or fix your credit by hiring, filling out the form yourself and doing these things yourself, or you can just hire someone, right? That'll charge you $70 to $80 per month to fix your credit and not have to worry about it. And you can live your life as your credit is being repaired, established. You can pay someone $50 to $60 a month. No more than $100 a month to fix your credit or to establish you the proper credit that you need in order to get to where you have to go. Do not focus on paying your bills so much, right? This is surplus spending. You don't want a surplus. Don't focus on paying your bills so much. Don't focus on things of this nature. Focus on your credit. If you have bills, of course, you want to pay them. And what's most important, you have to start with a job. Get yourself a job. Get yourself some type of income in order to start to fix your credit. or to establish your credit if you do not have any credit. Something as simple as applying for a credit card online. You can Google this. Apply for a credit card online and hope that a bank will give you up to $200-300 credit limit on a credit card. Nowadays, in today's time, since this chip technology has come out, we have to understand as revolutionaries, we have to understand things of this nature. It's very important. This has a lot to do with a true revolution and understanding a true revolution. You don't have to steal and kill one another. You don't have to do anything illegal, and that's most important. No one wants to go to jail. No one wants to be in prison. So that's why, as the supreme commander of the Al-Kabunakians, everything that I instruct you to do is to do so legally, right? Do everything legally. Everything that you can think of to do illegally can be done legally, even killing someone. And you have to understand that. Doing what you need to do legally and staying from behind bars, staying out of prison, minimizing mass incarceration is what's most important, top priority of an Al-Kabunakian. It's more important than breathing, my beautiful black people. So this is why I instruct individuals on how to do so. I instruct individuals on how to do things of this nature legally, right? So you want to fix your credit score. Today's time, since this chip technology, and because of the economic fluctuation, the recession and things of that nature, it's not the same as if you was in the late 80s, early 90s, when it comes to applying for credit. If you don't have any credit established, when it comes to applying to credit, it's not as simple as it once was to just go online and apply for a credit card. I mean, you can do things of that nature now, but chances are they're not going to lend you any money, right? You can get a credit card, some type of loan. When you go and purchase a car off the lot, you have to do so via credit, right? And with this credit score, you'll be able to drive off the lot with the car that you want. It's a loan. So when you think about getting a car or want something of that nature, something that's an essential or considered to be an essential, when you're thinking about getting a car, a lot of us is think about going in and filling out whatever application process that we have to fill out and receive a car or whatnot. But we don't take into accountability what it takes and what that actually is, which is just a loan. It's an automobile loan from a bank, whether it's either financed in-house or out. It's a loan, right? So this is why you establish credit as you pay on your car on time. This is why your credit starts to go up or down if you're late on payments, if you're early on payments, or if you make them on time. So think of lending or getting into lending in this simple way of establishing credit. People can do things like cell phones, get cell phones and things like that. I'm just being fundamental right now with the explanation because this should be focused on by a lot of young black individuals, right? But getting your credit repaired is something as simple as going to getting the car off the lot, not having to pay anything down for it or having to put a down deposit. And I mean big car lots, not buy here, pay here. There's a lot of buy here, pay here's when it comes to establishing credit. They're going to ask you for a down deposit. But you go to well-known car companies, they will be more inclined to give you money. It was one point in time in my life I was making a small income, had a small job or whatnot, so to speak, and went into a Ford dealership and did not have the thought of getting a car at all on my mind whatsoever. And unless I wasn't gonna have to make a down deposit on it, I wasn't gonna take any car. You know, I just wanted to look around and things of that nature. But I ended up applying for the car. I knew that my credit score was very bad. I knew that my credit score was very bad at the time, and I knew that the possibility of me being approved was less. There was a lesser chance of that. But I went into the went into the dealership, and I ended up getting a car. I got approved for a car to receive it zero down. Nothing on the car. Nothing to put down in the car. It was an older model car, but it was good enough for me and what I was trying to achieve at the time, you know. But getting into lending is important. It's as simple as getting a car. But more importantly, the best thing to do for your credit right now is to figure out what a secure deposit is. Right? In today's economy or economically, a secure deposit is the best way to establish credit right now and to fix your credit as well. Knowing the secure deposit, knowing what a secure deposit is pretty much taking your money and turning it into credit, right? So a secure deposit, let's say you have a job, you're working at McDonald's or something of that nature. If you was to go to a bank and tell them I would like a credit card, right? And they may tell you that we can't give you a credit card because you don't have any credit score. Your credit score is too bad, right? They will give you an option, though. Some banks, I know down here in Florida, is a credit union named Fairwinds, and that's very important as well, is to look into credit unions. Credit unions are very important. I want to get into that later. But you apply for a credit card, you get your credit card, and you tell them, and they're going to give you the option to be able to have a down deposit as a savings account. They would like for you to put into that savings account the amount of credit that you would like to receive. So it could be $300, it could be $1,000, it could be $5,000, it could be $10,000. And that $10,000 in cash will be placed into that account and it will turn into credit. You can use it as credit and it will start to build and establish your credit. You have secure deposit credit cards as small as $50 to $80, you know, $80 to $100. $300 is the most common for those who have bad credit, not making a lot of money at all. A $300 secure deposit credit card will get you established with credit. You take your cash and turn it into credit with a secured credit card. This is the greatest thing that you can do to build your credit, to start to fix your credit, and to get credit established, is to get a secured credit card. Go to any bank, any credit union, ask them that you would like to inquire about a secured credit loan, a secured credit card. A secure credit card, my beautiful black alcohol napkins. Let me see this text message back. But a secure credit card is the best way to get credit established. So if you're 15, 16 years old, you can go and get stuff like this started if you had a little job. Something that was bringing in, you know, small amounts of money to go ahead and fund that secure credit card. If you're someone that has bad credit, right? You're someone that has a 400 credit score, 300 credit score, 200, whatever. You can get a secured credit card for anywhere between $80 to $100. And give yourself time, right? Use the credit accordingly, right? Which is to spend the small amount, say $10 or $15 on the secured credit card. Make sure that it gathers interest and make the payment on it each and every month of what you owe. And this is going to gradually build your credit. This is going to gradually start your credit, right? This is going to gradually establish your credit as you make the payments with the secured credit card. So instead of you applying to a bunch of banks and getting denied by a bunch of banks, just get it yourself $300 and go and get a secured credit loan, a secured credit card. A secured credit card. And they're very important. They're fairly new. They did not exist until just recently. You know, they did not exist. But anyone that works with credit, they will tell you that this is the best thing to establish and to fix your credit, is to get a secured loan, because you have money now as collateral, right? Your money is used as collateral as it's set up or put inside of that savings account. I'm sorry about that, my beautiful black people. But the secured credit line needs to be utilized, right? Even people that have good credit and things of that nature, they still utilize these secured credit cards because they work your credit. They keep your credit in good standing. It's a good way to get yourself situated with credit. Once you have credit, right, you want to get past credit. Okay, we have credit understood to get a secured credit card and to start to build or start to establish your credit from anywhere to $80 to $300. You will be able to do this with a secured credit card with either a bank or a credit union. There's a difference between a bank and a credit union, right? But either or, the bank or the credit union, they may have the secured credit option. Anyone who don't know anything about credit, focus on credit this way, right? You have bad credit, purchase you a secured credit card. Purchase you a secured credit card. Learn what it is, learn how it works, and know that the collateral that you put inside of the savings account is what secure the credit, right? This is why it's less risky. This is why your credit score jumps so high with a secured credit card. This is why your credit score establishes a lot faster. It goes up with a secured credit loan because you have money as said collateral. So if you spent the $300 credit line that they gave you, they can take the $300 deposit that you gave them and have their money back. Your credit score jumps because collateral is very important when it comes to understanding economics. Collateral is imperative. What can you give me in case you default on this loan? That's called collateral. Collateral is anywhere from repos to foreclosed homes. Collateral has to be understood that it's very important. So to have credit now as collateral, which is very important, because some are saying, in a way that's saying that money is more important than credit, right? And we have to understand and read the economics in our time, but that's another discussion. But having that said, collateral is what secures your credit score if you have bad credit, and takes your credit into understanding. Also, learn and get a lawyer. Anyone. There's bureaus, credit repair bureaus, real lawyers, people that will refer you to these people. There's a bunch of credit repair places that will bullshit with you or whatnot and make your credit score repair a lot slower, right? It will be repaired, but a lot slower because they've done necessary things in order for that to happen. They will bullshit you, right? So I would recommend going somewhere or going with a credit repair company that's well referred, right? And I mentioned one earlier where I'm from, in Orlando. It's known as Lexington Law Firm. And Lexington Law Firm, they charge about $60 to $80 per month, you know, $60 to $80 per month in order to stabilize and repair your credit for you. They get your credit fixed for you, right? So once you have these two things as positives, right? You have someone fighting to fix your credit for you or to establish. This is the law firm is more towards people who needs to be fixed as far as credibility. The law firm is for people of that nature, but you have these two positive. You'll have these two things, you know, as you work, as you live your life, that is constantly stabilizing your credit. You can balance credit as well. We'll get into that later, but you have these two things as just a simple understanding that is fixing, repairing, or establishing your credit. Right? Get someone who knows how to do the job on your credit. And once you sign up to Moffat, either religion or no religion, and you become an official Al Kebunakian at religionofnoreligion.com, you have access to instant credit repair service, right? The best of the best, right? And that's what we focus on first. That has to be understood first. Within any revolution, it starts in little small places like this, right? Knowing what a secured credit card is, learning what the economics is in our times, in today's times. That's important to start a revolution, a true revolution. A real revolution that is going to successfully attain what it's set out to do, right? And that's what we need to do. That's what Al Kebunakians, my beautiful black Al Kebunakians, that is what we set out to do. You fix your credit, right? So once you have these two positives set up, give yourself about 8 to 11 months, right? 8 to 11 months, and you will start to see that your credit score is going to gradually change, right? It's going to change. It goes up points. Your credit score can go up 30, 40 points, 50, 60 points, 100 points within a matter of 60 to 90 days, you know, and within a matter of 30 days, someone could get your credit score from a 400 to a 650 within a matter of 30 days. It depends on what credit repair company that you decide to go with, but have a credit repair company on your credit, right? You have people who become conscious and things of that nature who seek to do these things themselves, right? You want to repair your credit yourself. You would much rather write these letters and fight these bureaus yourself instead of hiring someone, which is, yes, a cheaper route, but you have to make time out to do things of this nature, right? You have to take the time out to do this as opposed to you paying someone to have this done for you, right? You get that payment into them, they'll go ahead and take care of it, freeing up time for you so that you can invest your time elsewhere. Money can get you anywhere, right? So have a credit repair company on yourself. Always make sure to focus in on your credit. Understand your credit and what credit is. Know your credit. Love your credit. And make sure that your credit score is always going up and never going down. By hiring a credit repair company and acquiring a secured credit line, right? A secured deposit credit card, a secured credit line, something that acts as a form of collateral on your behalf in case you default on this loan, on this amount of credit, right? So once you have the understanding, the simple understanding of credit, right? Let's say now you've done these things, and then within a matter of a year and a half, 2 years, your credit score is now where it needs to be. So now you're pretty much undeniable, right? Anyone is going to lend you money, and they aren't going to ask you for a huge amount in order to retrieve the money, or they're not going to have you pay a huge amount to them quarterly, every month, or whatnot, in order for you to receive that loan, right? They're actually going to offer you less money. They want you to come and lend with them because you are trustworthy. You have a good reputation of paying them back. This is after you fix your credit. Focus on your credit. Your credit is good. Your credit could get you a home. You can have a 620 credit score and get a $150,000 loan right now in our time. Even having a low income job. If you have good enough credit, if you have a 620, if you have a 630 credit score, 640, a 650, you can get a brand new home right then and there, right now. This is why you're economically rich, right? A brand new home costs you anywhere to $150,000, $130,000, you know, brand new home, right? Brand new up-to-date home for this credit score, for this credit amount, right? So once a lot of people, especially black people, we like to talk about, let's keep my credit fixed. I want to keep my credit fixed, right? I have a friend of mine, you know, a while back. They were so adamant about keeping their credit score right, but they were still financially confused onto what to do, right? They still wanted to be economically free with the right credit score. I had a good credit score, you know, but still was financially struggling, right? They weren't struggling, they was okay, so to speak, you know, what we like to call okay, right? So this person, they wanted to get into things that would make them millionaires over time. They weren't in the millions, right? They weren't millionaires. They weren't someone who is living a life of luxury. They're okay, a middle class individual, right? Great credit score, you know, 800 credit score, 750, great credit score, you know, but do not know what to do with it. Black people, we have this common ground with credit. We want to keep our credit clean, right? We want to keep our credit right, but we don't know what to do with it. Now, what do I mean by that? What do I mean by that? It's something as simple as buying a home, right? When you get a home, you have a credit score, right? Your credit score, when you have a home, your credit score gets you this home, right? You don't even have to have the money to have the proper credit. You get this home. And what's the most useful purpose of a home? What's the most useful purpose of having a home, of you owning a home? What's the most useful purpose, right? If you said living in it, no, that's incorrect. It's not to live in that home. I was an individual that got my first home. I didn't live in it at all. What I did was rent it out, right? Brand new home, livable, nice home, nice area, decent place to stay. And I got approved for it, and I didn't live in it whatsoever. I was actually living in my car, right? Did not have a place to lay my head at night, right? Living in my car, I had purchased this home with a great credit score. This is an option, right? Living in my car was an option. It was an option so that I can, you know, financially get myself set up properly. So living in my car was an option. I didn't have to. I didn't need to, right? But I wanted to live in my car because I wanted to be as tight on money as I could, you know. I want to get this money thing correct. So I purchased the home, and in that purchase, I was able to lease it out, right? I got someone to move in it. Now they're paying me to live in this home, right? They're paying me every month to live in this home, and whatever loan I got on the home, I was using that payment to pay off the home. You know, when you have a great credit score, you can get a nice, very nice home and only owe the bank $300-400 a month on it in mortgage, right? Pretty decent home, right? 3-4, at least down here in Florida is what I mean. You know, when you go to different places, of course it's different. But, you know, $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 home, you know, pretty decent home. You can do things of that nature. But I rented this home out, had a $300 mortgage on the home, pretty decent home, moved someone in and charged them $1,500 a month to live in it, right? And they were paying me that $1,500, and I was paying off the mortgage of $300. They didn't have to worry about a mortgage, you know? But I was paying off the mortgage of $300, and they were living in that home, and I was making a profit of $1,200 per month. You know, this is what's going in my pocket. This home, and them paying me rent, and making sure that I secure them paying me rent. I did the proper documentation, ran background checks, and different things of that nature, in order to be secured in receiving that rent payment from them each and every last month. You know, a lot of people get into, oh, you have to make repairs if anything is broken and this, that, and the third. There's so many people, especially us black people, we've lived in homes and we've destroyed them, right? Over time, we've destroyed these homes, never made any repairs on them. Anyone and the person that's renting this home out to us isn't going to make repairs on them, or they're shitty repairs. They're not good enough repairs, right? So you don't have to worry about repairs. People tend to try to repair things themselves, you know, for the most part. So, but you have this concept, right? You have that route. You know, you have that route to go. If you're someone who's seeking to get financially correct, you have that route to go. Or you can live in your home, right? You can get a new home, brand new home, and you can live in your home. And when you live in your home, my beautiful black people, my beautiful black Al-Kabinakian people, this is what's important with utilizing credit. When you live in this home, you can lease this, you can get liens on this home, right? You can take out other mortgages. You can get money from that home, right? And you would use that money. It's important to use that money to fund a business, period. Whether it's a restaurant, whether it's a gas station, doesn't matter what it is. Lean out that home, take out a mortgage on that home and start you a business with this mortgage. That's the most lucrative thing that you can do with a home. You can be 19, 20 years old, do this and get a home, live in your home, and lend out money from your home, right? Get equitable loan on your home and be able to structure or fund your business with this home, right? So let's say your home is worth $150,000 and the next 3 years they're projected for your home to be worth $175,000. You can take out a $30,000 loan on that home and you can start to purchase things to fund your business, right? That's the most important thing for a home, and that is what a home, other than living inside of it, if you're going to live in it, that is what a home should be used for, my beautiful black people. That's important. This is reaching the minds of the youth, right? I'm talking to the youth. A lot of people have different perspectives, right? As far as the elders, you know, and they don't even have knowledge of what to do with a good credit score. They have a home. You're sitting on an $80,000 home, right? I know someone who's sitting on an $80,000 townhome, right? Don't have any liens on this home, haven't taken out any loans on this home, doesn't have any mortgages or anything on this home. I don't like to say liens, but you know, I use that term. But you take out any mortgages, any other loans on this home, hasn't done so, and they're steadily wondering, why haven't they reached $1 million yet? You know, why haven't I reached at least making more than a couple $100,000 a year yet? You know, they have what's considered to be a great job. You know, you have a good job. You have this credit. You're sitting on this asset. You're sitting on this $80,000 home, and for some reason, whatever reason, you're not taking out a loan to fund a business on this home. A lot of elder black individuals that have been in certain situations, they're afraid, they're very fearful of making these types of moves, right? And that's because black people, we are economically uneducated, right? We don't know what to do economically. The very few that do know what to do aren't doing anything at all either themselves. They are economically impaired. They are economically torn down, you know. But us as black people, we have very small education when it comes to economics. And we have to know economics in order to strengthen a revolution. That's what's most imperative as an Al-Kabinakian, because we want to revolutionize. What's the point of getting economically rich if my government can come and take everything from me? And in a proper revolution, of course, is to secure your future, to secure whatever you work for, whatever you've gotten. You have to do it through a revolution, right? You have to do it by telling your government that you're going to do what you're going to make the rest of everyone else do. You're going to do what you're going to make the rest of everyone else do, and you're going to secure yourself by changing your government so that your government cannot come and take what they want from you, right? That's thinking further, and we have to think further, my beautiful black people. You have to fucking think further. You have to fucking think further. If you don't, then you are a piece of shit. When it comes to understanding how far you can get and what you can do in this world, you have to always future capitalize. They call it future capitalism. You have, in the world of economics, you have to understand these things. And learning real estate, learning what real estate is, learning how to control real estate through things like equitable interest is important, because you can get into wholesaling real estate as well. Wholesaling real estate is what strengthens revolutions in economics, because wholesaling real estate, you do not need either credit, nor do you need money to do. All you need is paper. Commercial paper. All you need is paper. Paper is more feasible than money. Paper can do way more than what money could do. Money is paper, right? Have the proper paperwork, the proper documentation typed up, and you can be someone that's $30,000, have only $30,000 in your bank account, right? But you can be someone that has a $2 million infrastructure with only $30,000 under your name, in your name. You can have $2 million of owned property, of said assets, but you only have $30,000 cash yourself, right? So are you a millionaire? That's the question. And so this is why learning things like paperwork, learning documentation is important. This is why I cut to the chase and I tell my young, beautiful black people, don't try to fix your credit yourself. Have someone fix it for you. Hire some lawyers, some credit repair company. Have them fix it for you. Get a secure deposit credit card. You have all these other lanes, all these other routes to get to money. But this is the most feasible route when it comes to revolutionizing and building yourself up from the ground, right? If you need to build yourself up from the ground, you have to first start with a job, right? You have to first always start with a job. And that's important for me to mention, especially to my young black Al-Kabunakians, because we tend to come into consciousness and say, fuck the white man, fuck working for anyone else. I want to try to work for myself. You know, I want to work for myself to supply my means, and next thing you know, you're out on the streets, don't have anywhere to go, you're struggling, you're economically unstable, you're living day to day, you have nothing. And what's coming out of your mouth is, I don't want to work for no one, I don't want to work for anyone, I don't want to this, that, and the third, right? I want to have my own business and work for myself, because I've come into this consciousness. But you have to realize what time you live in. You have to realize your government. You have to realize the time that you live in, right? And you have to realize that you're under what's known today as capitalism, right? This is what your government is. This is what the world is. It's a capitalizing world. It's not a communist world, right? It's not a communist world. Workers don't own the state, right? Workers, people that work in factories, don't own their companies, right? There's always someone at the top that owns this company, and they're making all the money for this company. They're capitalists. The workers of the company don't own or have any say-so to that company whatsoever. That's a communist economy, right? So you have to understand that. There's a difference between socialism. Socialism is living on welfare, right? You want your government to do things for you, this socialist economy. Living on welfare, you would much rather for your government to intervene and get you to where you need to be. That's a socialist. You have the socialist economy, the communist economy, and you have the capitalist economy, right? You have to understand what these things are. The capitalist economy is the most fueled economy because you have people who are privately owning businesses, multi-billion, trillion-dollar businesses, and don't have to answer to anyone, such as the Federal Reserve, right? This is a privately owned company. The Federal Reserve is privately owned. It's owned by no one other than a few people. The government has so little power against the Federal Reserve Right now, the president is considered to be a spokesperson. He's able to sit down at the table, he's able to be a chairman amongst the board of directors. This is the president. The president has the power to do this. Of the Federal Reserve, the board of directors, Federal Reserve, the president is appointed to be a chairman, right? You have 12 Federal Reserve banks, 12 banks, right? Every president that's elected is considered, would be appointed to the board of directors as a chairman or whatnot, so that they can go into the meetings and listen on what's going on within the private business of the Federal Reserve. That's important. A lot of times you watch movies, you see a long table, right? You see a big business company, a company meeting, right? And you'll see a bunch of people sitting down at that table. These people aren't necessarily doing work, right? But they're in formal attire, right? They're dressed in their business suit or this, that, and the third. And they're sitting down at that huge table as someone is explaining to them, possibly the CEO of this company, on how they're going to make profitability, right? They're not doing any work at all. They're sitting and listening, right? By law, you can conduct business without opening your mouth. By law. This is the law. You can conduct business without opening your mouth whatsoever, right? You can conduct business informally, right? Which is how people start to capitalize on vacations and things of that nature, you know. But this is just a business meeting. Everyone who's sitting down at the table isn't working. They're just there to listen because they own a lot of stock within that company. They own stock that has control. If you watch things like Shark Tank, I tell a lot of my beautiful young black individuals, watch the show Shark Tank, right? Learn Shark Tank. Learn what they mean by selling state, selling equity, you know, learning things like royalties, right? Watch the show Shark Tank and you will learn something. You will learn how to become a capitalist. And you will learn that even billionaires are cheap. They want to be cheap. They want the cheapest route because they understand how important, how being cheap is. That's the most important thing, my beautiful black people, you know, my beautiful young black people. But once you start to get into business, you get into capitalism, right? This is how you do so. You do so with real estate. Everybody purchased their home. Everybody used their home. Everyone fixed their credit up, you know. Once you fix your credit, you have access to so much, my beautiful black people. You have access to so much, right? You have to fix your credit in order to bring in dollars. So learning paperwork, and it goes back to equitable interest that I was speaking on earlier, which is controlling real estate, right? Not having any money or credit whatsoever, right? But using a loophole in order to control what goes on. One way to look at equitable interest or controlling real estate is to look at something like leasing a car from a dealership, right? Let's say you drive off the dealership with that car. Now, if you decide to chop that car in half, right? You can do anything that you want with this car because you signed the necessary paperwork and you got this car, right? You can do anything that you want with this car while you have this car. And this is wholesaling real estate. This is learning how to wholesale real estate, which is so important when it comes to an economic revolution. Wholesaling real estate is the key to revolution. It's the first start to a revolution. Learning how to acquire mass amounts of capital without any credit, right? And without any money. So therefore, if you was thrown into a position to where you had neither or, you will be able to capitalize on that situation. So you had nothing. You will be able to capitalize on that situation, right? Of course, after finding a job, you will be able to capitalize on that situation, right? So having nothing could take you into understanding once you learn how to wholesale real estate. So once you drive off the lot of that car, you can do anything that you want with that car, correct? You have to know that, my beautiful black people. You have to know that you can do anything that you want from paperwork of someone signing over of that ownership to that item to you. Just paperwork, right? A lot of my beautiful black people, you know, they come to me. How can I do this? How could I wholesale real estate? How could I do this? What do you mean by this? I don't need any money or credit. What do you mean? Right? Considering that we all live in the fucking hood. We all have lived in the fucking hood at some point in time. If you haven't, you've lived in you know someone who has, right? But either or, whether you're in a hood or not, you will find something like an unoccupied home, an abandoned home, right? Let's say you're in the hood and you see a bunch of abandoned homes in your neighborhood. This is how you make money without any credit and without any money at all, and through wholesaling real estate, right? I've done this before myself. I've done this multiple times myself. Wholesaling real estate is where the start of all of my understanding to be, you know. But wholesaling real estate is getting a home under control or under your control, no different than you buying this lot or buying this car, and doing what you want to do while in control of that home. You do anything that you want to do with that home, including selling the home, right? So let's say you was to go into your neighborhood, go out into the hood. A lot of us as beautiful black people, we already know that, you know, the abandoned homes. We can go right to an abandoned home. We live in the hood. Anyway, we can go right to an abandoned home and we can say, you know, this home is abandoned. No one lives here. Let's say the home was burnt down. Let's say the home was almost completely in half, torn completely in half, right? It was unlivable. This home, you could still make a lot of money off of this home, right? You could still make good money off of this home, right? So you go out, let's say you just want to try God molecular theory. Just try it, right? You have nothing else to lose but to try something of this nature. You have to go out and do it, right? That's where it starts at. A lot of people ask me, how do I do this, that, and the third, but they never go out and do it. They never go out and do this shit because they're too busy working. They're too busy paying their bills and this, that, and the third. They don't make time to make themselves millionaires, to get yourself into capitalizing, to earning capital, right? You have to make time to do this. You can't get caught up in this rat race, right? You cannot get caught up in the rat race. You have to learn how to do things of this nature. Right now in the state of Florida, you ask someone, how do I form a company? Legally, how can I get my company? A lot of us as black people, we think, you know, $6,000, $7,000 to start a company, to get it up. We think that it costs money. A lot of us guerrilla market our company, you know. A lot of us, you know, we have thoughts about landscaping or car washing or something of that nature, these little small things. And what I'm going to do first is make business cards. And then I'm going to make business cards, and then once I make these business cards, I'm going to pass out my business cards, and I'm going to hope that someone gives me some money by calling me and wanting my service. But those who have money, these rich billionaires, they understand that their money doesn't come from consumers buying their product. If I make a bottle of lotion, right? You have to listen to this. My beautiful black people, pay attention to this knowledge and understanding. Pay attention, right? It can get you somewhere, I promise you. You have to listen, my beautiful black people. Now, I'm going to get back into wholesaling real estate, but I just want to take time to explain this. If I have a bottle of lotion, instead of me going out and guerrilla marketing or trying to get this thing up on its own, you know, trying to get people to pay me, because a lot of us, we get caught up when you do decide something so simple like that. Your livable means sidetrack you, and instead of you putting your money up away to where it needs to be, you end up spending your money on a need, a personal need. Now, legally, this is called tax evasion, legally. You can't do that. That's illegal, right? To get some, you can get money, right? But I can't say that it's a business and then go and personally use that money on what I want to personally achieve for my own personal use, right? It's called tax evasion, right? You can't do that. So legally, right now in the state of Florida, it doesn't cost you $60,000, $6,000. Right now, in order for you to get your corporate articles, right? And I would like for a lot of my beautiful black Al-Kabunakian people, I would like for you to look up sunbiz.org and type in the free Mofadai Al-Kabunakian Corporation. That's Al-Kabunakian, ALKEBUNAQIAN Corporation. And you will see that I'm listed on a website known as Sunbiz, which is the most feasible corporation or anything that anybody uses in the state of Florida to validate a true, legally applied for company, right? So this is just, just to let individuals know that I have it, and that documentation isn't anything, it's public documentation, But I would like for, but if you have a bottle of lotion, right? So this is what the rich individuals, they know. This is what these rich crackers know, right? They know that these people buying my bottle of lotion isn't where I'm going to find all of my funds, right? This is not where I'm going to find all of my profit. I'm not going to make my money. I don't care about the consumer, right? I don't care about even like shows on Shark Tank, they talk about the consumer this, consumer that. No. You go to Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank. The guy is constantly on different financial news talking about the stock market and things of that nature. But Shark Tank, because of the social morale, they teach you to focus on selling your product to people. This is what capitalists have paid. This is what they throw in your face all the time. This is what you have been programmed to believe. They teach you that focusing on selling your product is how you're going to bring in profitability. That's how you're going to bring in money, right? They don't teach you about shares, right? A lot of young black individuals or a lot of young black business owners, self-made entrepreneurs who's trying to get themselves from the ground up, they don't teach you about selling common stock, right? By making your initial public offering, right? You have to make an IPO with the Security Exchange Commissions, and you have to get authorized shares, right? Right now, my company has a total of 3.5 million authorized shares of common stock. My beautiful black people. 3.5 million shares of stock, right? And this is all legally, right? So didn't have to pay a dime to do things of this nature, right? I wouldn't say I didn't have to pay a dime, but to get to where I needed to go after learning how to wholesale real estate, you can do this immediately, right? Wholesaling real estate, you don't need any money or credit for that. You need money to get common shares. But right now in the state of Florida, it only costs you $80, $81 to file a legal corporation, to file a company, your business legally, and you get your EIN number, right? Which is your employer identification number. It's no different than your business, or it's no different than yourself having a social security number. When you create a business, it needs to be taxable, right? When you create a corporation, it needs to be taxable, right? So you go and pay $80 in the state of Florida, file your corporate articles with Sunbiz, you will get your EIN number, And this is not having $6,000, $7,000 to start a business. This is not me saving up 10 grand for like 10 years in order to finally start a business. No. You get $81, you pay the government, and they give you the legal documentation for your business to at least get a bank account, right? So, my beautiful black people, you have to understand things of this nature. It's important. So with that bottle of lotion, right, I'm not worried about selling this to the consumer. When I make my company, I register with the SEC, right? When you're a company that's making less than $5 million a year, you can be Regulation D. You have to look up these things. This is an exemption with the SEC. When you have a company of this nature, you can register with the SEC and you can get as many common shares that you would like. Once you make your initial public offering, you can sell these shares for however much someone is willing to buy them from you. Rather on the New York Stock Exchange, rather on, which has been around since 1789, I believe, rather on the NASDAQ, any way whatsoever, whether you get on penny stock, any way whatsoever, you are able to then now sell shares of your company. And when you sell shares of your company, you're going to make more capital. Now your product, which is that lotion, isn't what's making you money. What's making you money is selling common shares of your company, right? To people who want to buy, to have, and they can trade later on for more value, right? This is all legally. So you get registered with the SEC once you create a business. Now you take this $80, you get incorporated. You make sure that your business is properly set up. You get your EIN number, and then you register with the SEC. Immediately, right away. You don't seek to guerrilla market yourself by trying to put your product out and having people pay you in order for that to fund your business. That's going to take you forever. Learn how to get registered on the SEC, right? With the SEC, learn what it takes for you to properly register your company. You don't have to speak with a lawyer. I always tell my beautiful black Al-Kabunakins that a lawyer is only needed when you need a lawyer, right? When you need a lawyer, that's when you don't want to do something yourself. When you don't want to do this yourself, you consider it to be too complex, too time consuming, then go hire someone who will do the necessary work for you. Business lawyers can be cheap. You can find you a cheap business lawyer, someone who's willing to capitalize off of bringing your company up into understanding by charging you little now and more later, right? You can find cheap business business lawyers. There was one business lawyer, this dude that I knew, that started his SEC got his corporation registered on the SEC. The dude only wanted $50 a month. That's it. And he got his company registered with the SEC and was selling common shares. So once your business is up, once you get the file for your business to be taxable, it's correct, you register with the SEC, which is the Security Exchange Commissions. You get with a broker, which is considered to be an intermediary, which is what all this paperwork is going to do. You get you a stock ticker and you start selling stocks. You start selling shares. Now, a lot of us, when we think about stocks, we think about buying stocks, right? You want to buy some shares, right? When people say shares, they mean stock. I want to buy some stock. I want to buy me some shares in McDonald's. This is what you're doing with your company. You're selling people the same share, the same stock, right? But who's going to buy your company? Who's going to buy that stock if your company is not popular, right? So therefore, you have to make an initial public offering. Now you can start selling shares to the public. And you have to get your business socially in tune. You have to get the marketability out there. Get your business out there. People will start to get into your business. You have to make your business popular, you know? And that's what's going to drive up the value of the shares of your company. It's not about getting a product or making something and selling it and using those funds right? Selling it and using those funds to allocate and to use for your business. It's about selling shares. You have to focus on shares, learn things like IOUs, commercial paper. You have to learn what commercial paper is. You have to learn the systemic and unsystemic risk. Something as simple as a protest could do a lot of damage with systemic risk. It does a lot of damage to things like dividends. The value of things of this nature goes down. And you have millionaires who still don't know information like this. They still have no information. They still don't know how to keep things afloat. And they go broke, right? Even millionaires have went broke. It happens every day, my beautiful black people. Not everyone has all attained knowledge of the financial system. And even those who we consider to be wealthy, they are still financially illiterate, right? Even these crackers, my beautiful black people. But in Al-Kabunakian, we are of the utmost. And this is because we understand revolution. We understand conversion, right? In our spiritualism. How equitable conversion is in converting those into people into Mofadai, the religion, no religion. We understand how equitable, how profitable that is, my beautiful black people. But when you have these shares that you're able to sell now, and your company is telling all of its business to the public, because you have to, right? Now you have, of course, businessmen that lie to the SEC. My company ends up losing $60,000. And I never tell the SEC never finds out. I'm a multi-billion-dollar dude, right? Let's say my company is $14 million strong, right? I lose $5 million in profits in 1 month from my company, right? If I did that as the CEO of this company, I do not have to report that to the SEC. As the CEO of this company, I do not have to report anything to the SEC. It's up to my board of directors to figure this out, right? But I do not have to report anything, and I can also pay for any information that I don't want to report not be reported. This is what big capitalists do. This is what big billionaires, millionaires, this is what they do. This is a game. It's a game, right? But learning how to sell shares is more important. It should be of the utmost importance when it comes to building a business. My beautiful black people. Not necessarily working the consumer. The consumer is like the passive income stream. Imagine your company was a human. Your company had a job, right? Let's say your company had a job. Each and every day that company was committed to work in order to bring in that money that job was going to pay your company, my beautiful black people. But if your company had a passive income stream, if your business had a passive income stream, right? Let's say your business had a piece of real estate that people were paying at rent, right? So now it has a job and now it owns a piece of real estate. The piece of real estate would be considered more as the consumers. That passive income stream for your business is what's going to secure profitability. Now the common shares is where your company really has to work in order for your company to secure that line of income. So you have to learn things of this nature. You have to learn how to apply yourself correctly, my beautiful black people. You have to learn how to structure yourself and order yourself as a beautiful black Al-Kabunakian. as a beautiful black man or woman, and you have to stabilize yourself economically, even on the spiritual level. If someone tells you that their spiritualism does not provide money or does not determine money, a lot of us as beautiful black beautiful black people, when we first come into awakening, we say things like money isn't spiritual. You don't need money. Money isn't this. Money isn't that. Money should be something that is mastered. You should master money. Master money. Just like someone would go and master a degree, right? Get a master's degree in whatever profession, whatever sense of education. Master money. That's true spiritualism. If your spiritualism do not incline you to learn financially and to build wealth, then it is not true spiritualism whatsoever. You look at individuals like the King of Mali, Mansa Musa, the richest man to ever exist, beautiful black god. Mansa Musa was the richest man to ever exist. So this by default makes it within the DNA of every black individual a person of money, because he was the richest. When we come into spiritualism, money is imperative. Learning how money is, learning what credit is, and things of that nature is imperative. So we get back into wholesaling real estate. Once you learn how to sell shares, once you get your company registered, you no longer need me to teach you. You learn what it takes in order to get to where you need to go. My beautiful black gods and goddesses. So we get into wholesaling real estate without any money, without any credit. You don't have anything. Let's say you was released from jail, you was released from prison, you were released from some type of confinement, something, right? You didn't have anything but the clothes on your back and the shoes on your feet, right? If you knew how to go into your hood, your neighborhood, and you find an abandoned home, and you knew someone who owned this abandoned home, you find the owner of this abandoned home, you tell the owner that I will pay you $20,000 for this abandoned home. Because the house right next to this abandoned home, I know from me doing the research, via your phone. Your phone is very important. Getting on the internet, access to the internet is very important, right? You learn the value of the properties of where you live within the same zip code. Sometimes there's a hood, and then you go 2 or 3 blocks up, or you go right down the street, a couple streets down, there's a rich neighborhood, upper class family, richer upper class people, people with money. You find these joggers everywhere, right? You go from the neighborhood there's no fucking joggers. There's no fucking joggers in the hood, At least not where I'm from. You know you're not in the hood because motherfuckers ain't around here with Beats by Dre headphones on and jogging in the hood, with all their athleisure, and jogging and, minding their business. That's when you know where I'm from that you're not in the hood, right? That's when you know that you're in a good neighborhood, right? When you find these joggers everywhere, look for them. Look for people. This is simple. This is how you know where you are. This is how you know real estate. This is learning real estate. Finding people that jog, because these people are learning their real estate as they jog. A lot of people ask why do rich people jog. And you have to, another thing I want to recommend before I continue, there's a book by the name of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Read that book, it will change your life, my beautiful black people. But you have people that will jog. You think they're jogging to stay in shape, but no, they're jogging to go around and check out the real estate that's around their company, or that's around their area, so that they can learn how to invest into it, right? This is when you know you're living in a better area, a more upper class area, by finding these people. But let's say you went into the hood, you found this abandoned home, you found the owner of this home without any money or any credit. You tell this owner that I would like to buy your home from you. After you did the proper research and you found out that the home right next to this home has sold for $50,000. Some home in the neighborhood sold that same year in the hood for $50,000, $60,000, $40,000, $30,000, right? So you go to that abandoned person, you find the person who owns that abandoned, non-livable home. You find someone who owns it, and you tell them that I'm willing to pay you $15,000. The home is worth $50,000 because somewhere within the same zip code there was a home that sold for $50,000. It could be the home that's right next to it. That same year it sold for $50,000. It could be the home that's a couple blocks down, up the street. If it's within the same zip code, my beautiful black people. If it's within the same zip code. Like I said, there's hoods, you can go right up the street, around the block and find the joggers, the upper class, the gentrified place, right? In a revolution, we understand gentrification. We don't bash gentrification. We use gentrification to our advantage. You got people like Umar Johnson, Brother Polite, that will tell you that gentrification is what's fucking up hoods, the neighborhood. No. Us not having the knowledge of how to utilize gentrification is what's driving black people out of certain places and putting them in certain positions. We use gentrification. We understand gentrification. We come to love gentrification, right? To get to where we need to go. Even if I have to do it with a cracker, a white man. If I have to sell a white man a home in the hood, I'm going to sell it. I'm a revolutionary. Even if as a revolutionary. That's because I know that once I'm in the proper position, I'm going to chop this cracker's head off, right? But first I have to place myself in a proper position. This is called The Art of War. You have to read books like The Art of War by General Sun Tzu, right? I'm going to use the surrender tactic. This is called the surrender tactic. Surrendering, saying, okay, you got it. Just to get to where I need to go. And then once I get there, I chop your head off. It's important, right? This is war. You have to understand war. You have to understand intelligence, my beautiful black people. But if you find this person that owns this home and they agree to sell you this home that is worth $50,000 because it's unlivable, it's beat up, it's battered, they sell you this abandoned home for $15,000, right? We're going to say $10,000. Try to get it as cheap as possible, right? Let's say you say, I'll give you $10,000 for this abandoned home. I'll give you $12,000 for this abandoned home, right? This person agrees. They say, okay, I will sell you this home for $12,000 because I'm not doing anything but being taxed on it, right? You get this on contract. You get this under contract. When this person agrees, it's called under contract. Getting them under contract. Getting them to sign paperwork to state to you that they agreed to sell you this home for this amount of money at this specific day, right? So you take that agreement and that paperwork, you take it to a title company. A title company, you can walk around your chamber of commerce, you can go downtown, you can be driving somewhere and see a title company, you can Google your nearest title company, you can do anything to find a title company as easy as 1, 2, 3, right? You find this title company and you say, listen, I have this person that decides, oh, I'm sorry, I'm skipping steps, I'm sorry. So you get this person to agree to sell you this contract, right? So you got this house under contract for $12,000 and you find someone to buy it from you for $20,000, right? So this person is going to sell you this home for $12,000. And let's go a little less than that. They're going to sell it to you for $12,000 and they agree, you get someone else to agree to buy it from you for $18,000, or it could be $15,000, right? Someone is going to sell you this home for $12,000, and someone is going to buy it from you for $15,000, right? How do you get this person to buy it from you? You use things like YouTube. You take a phone, get someone something, right? You have to get a way. You have to get a way to show the appeal of this broken down, non-livable home to this person that's going to buy it from you, right? A lot of individuals that don't have money, they're at least fortunate enough to have a phone. Right? I know that I was when I was in my situation. I was fortunate enough to have a phone. So I had a phone and I used the phone. I recorded this home, this beat up home. I recorded it. I went inside it. I recorded everything inside. I recorded everything around this home. And I recorded everything, every person that lived next to this home, right? So that people could see the neighborhood of the people that I wanted to sell it to. They could see that it's the hood, you know? So I recorded this home, and I take that recording and I take those pictures, and I upload that recording to YouTube, right? I upload it to YouTube. Upload that recording to YouTube, right? And you also upload the pictures of this home on Craigslist. You go to Craigslist, right? You go on Craigslist and you post up that I have a home here for $12,000. No, you don't tell them how much you got the home under contract for. Let me put that out there. You know, you don't want to state how much you got this home under contract for, but you do want to state that you have a home that you would like to sell, an abandoned home, you know, beat up, unlivable, that you would like to sell for someone who's looking to fix and flip it. Because there's people in renovation companies that make huge amounts of money off of fixing and flipping homes, right? They would be willing to buy a home for dirt cheap and put thousands and hundreds and thousands of dollars into the home in order to make the home now more profitable, way more profitable than what they're going to put into it. But I'm not going to get into that. But you upload it on YouTube. Okay, I found this home, and I'm willing to sell this home to someone for $15,000. You have renovation companies that will respond to you within a matter of hours. It took 2 hours for me to get my first response, right? 2 hours. And someone told me that they would like to buy the home. Once I placed that ad up on Craigslist, there was a local renovation company that told me that they wanted to buy the home from me for $15,000. That's because they see that the home is worth $50,000, right? So they see that they also, up the street from that home, there had been a house that sold for $250,000. It's within the same zip code. This is gentrification, right? This is how you bring your hood up into another sense of class, right? So this is called gentrification. You have to understand these things, my beautiful black people. It's simple. But this company contacts you and they tell you, we're willing to pay you $15,000 for that home. You got it on the contract for 12. You get them to agree on that contract that they are going to buy it from you on the same exact day. This is important. They are willing to buy it from you as is, on the same exact day that you are going to sell it, or the person that's selling to you is going to sell you the home, right? So you get them, the buyer, to buy the home from you on the same exact day the seller, which is the owner of the abandoned home, has agreed to sell the home to you. Right? It's very important how to, this is called equitable interest. Equitable interest. I'm marketing this piece of paper, this contract. It could be something as simple as a 3-sentence contract. I've seen contracts that have 5 sentences on them. Closing date, inspection period, and this, that, and the third within a matter of weeks, within 3 sentences. And people have agreed. Closing costs $5. Right? You can legally do this. Right? It's important. The closing costs usually cost what the title company is going to charge you, which could be anywhere from $200, $300. On something as small as this, probably less than that, $70, $80. You charge that as the closing cost, right? And you pay the closing cost to the title company, right? You pay this closing cost, you agree to pay this closing cost on that same exact day as well. You align these dates up, the selling day and the buying day, right? And you check off on this contract that is under assignment. You can assign it. It's called an assignment clause. You can assign the ownership of this home to this person. Now that's what you're getting paid for finding the contract for the fix and flipper. This is called wholesaling real estate. A lot of black people have never heard of this. A lot of black people do not understand anything other than fix and flip homes. Everyone talks about fix and flip, fix and flip. Now, on this day comes, this person sells me their home, sells me that abandoned, beat up, unlivable home, the same day that the person buys the home from me for $15,000. Now, there's going to be 2 checks that are going to be cut by the title company. The title company is going to handle the paperwork. The title company is going to sign whoever needs to be, whoever going to have the rights. They're going to handle the hard part of the whole deal. Other than getting the house on a contract, which is the hardest part. The hardest part of wholesaling real estate is getting the house on the contract, right? And I just said that the person agreed to sell you that home because nobody can live in it. It's fucked up. The house is unlivable. And then on top of that, they're probably being charged $200 a year by the government on taxes. They have to pay taxes on the property. They just want to get rid of it. It's a big headache. I wanted to hold on to it because someone I knew and it died. But, I want to get rid of it now. You have to find this motivated seller, But on that same day, these people, the transactions happens, the paperwork is handled by the title company. And the title company cuts 2 checks. They cut the check for the person who's selling you the home, which is $12,000. And they cut you a check of what's left after that sale, right? So $12,000, you sold it for $15,000. How much profit is that? That is a $3,000 profit. So now you went from not having anything out of jail. You made it to that closing date, as is property. You made it to that closing date. Now you went from nothing to having $3,000 in your pocket without having credit or anything. You walk out, you take that check. They may give you both checks. They're going to give you a check for $15,000 and they're going to give you a check for $3,000. You make sure that you go and give this person who agreed to sell you the home their money. You make sure that they get their $12,000, right? And then you make your $3,000. Now you have money enough, for a decent little place to stay, to say, so to speak. But this is how you get yourself from the ground up, my beautiful people. I mean, this whole process is a lot more easy. It's a lot more easy. If you had a job, of course, let's say you wasn't in such a bad situation as that, but you've been working, a little job at a Waffle House or something like that, and you're considered to be at least on your feet, right? Because when you're in that situation, I explained, that's not even being on your feet, that's on your belly, right? But you're someone who's working at Waffle House, Burger King, something of this nature. You've done this, you know. Let's say you're someone, now you're at least on your feet and you have time to go ahead and do what needs to be done in order for you to, to look for this type of opportunity, right? It isn't as demanding, but now you have time to create this opportunity for yourself, right? Let's say you did 3 homes. That same instance is suffering not being released or not being in that situation. But let's say you did have that same instance of that $3,000 profit, same amount, same everything. You know, now this person who's bought this home from you, they're going to be more inclined to buy more houses from you. This is called your end buyer. Right? Very important. End buyers are very important. Right? You got your end buyers, right? Which are people who you've already sold homes to and they know that you're good. They know everything flowed well. Now they just want you to find them more homes. Go find me more homes like this. Go find me more and more and more. I have the money. Go find me more and more and more. And how many abandoned hoods can you find in one day? Right? Let's say you did this, abandoned homes. How many abandoned homes can you find in one day? Now, let's say you did this 3 to 4 times a week, right? Because there's a lot of abandoned homes in your neighborhood, right? Let's say you did this 3 to 4 times a week. How much profit is that per week? That's $10,000 to over $10,000 a week, right? You're making $10,000, you're making 10 grand a week now, my beautiful black people. And this is just learning how to wholesale real estate. This is taking over. This is understanding yourself financially. Once you have this financial education, then you build the revolution, right? Now the revolution is to place someone in with the title of nobility into a perspective. And this is usually done through spiritualism, right? This is usually done through spiritualism. This is the position that I'm seeking to attain as Amun-Ra, the Supreme Commander of the Al-Kabunakin people. I'm seeking to attain the title of nobility, right? How do we do this? We spread the word of Mofadai, the religion of no religion. You spread the practice. It becomes your life. You are a registered member at religionofnoreligion.com. You signed up and you become an official Al-Kabunakian, right? Once you become an official Al-Kabunakian, now you are a part of the mission of building black communities, sustaining wealth, and using that wealth to transition or expedite ourselves to Antarctica by the year 2034. That is the spiritual revolution. You have to understand how economics work. And spiritualism is a part of economics, my beautiful black people. And that's imperative to learn. That's imperative. You have to learn economics before you build a revolution. You have to be able to provide for your people as you place them in the position to overthrow their government. People don't understand that the United States Constitution itself is a bond for war. Your country is built on war. Your country is built on creating a common defense, creating a domestic offense, creating a common defense. Your country is built on war. That's to create a common defense to be protected from all threats, whether foreign or domestic. You read the United States Constitution. You have to read the United States Constitution, and you have to read it with intelligence in order to truly comprehend what it means. I instruct each and every last Al-Kabunakian to study the Constitution before 9 o'clock tonight. I would like for you to study from the very beginning. You can YouTube it. Listen to the audio of the Constitution, read the words of the United States Constitution, and learn that your country is built for war. Your country is built to kill motherfuckers. Your country is built so that you can have wars. You can sell the military formation of that war. The militia. You can build a militia, my beautiful black people. And you can sell the concept of this militia to other countries. That's why the Constitution is important to look into, so you can learn the sole purpose of your country, which is to monetize on war in America, here in America. This is why you can be strapped with the AR-15. Wear it on your back or hold it in your hand, point it up or down, and walk down your street. Which in today's time is absurd not to be seen as normal. It's absurd, my beautiful black people, that you do not know that you can walk down the street with an AR-15 across your back. You can go to work with an AR-15 on your back. Of course, you can't wear it in a place of work, but you have the right to have weapons, to form a militia, to create a common defense, to protect your people, whatever that may be, from foreign and domestic threats, my beautiful black people. It's important to us as fucking Al-Kabunakians, not no stupid Negroes. We're not no stupid people. We can't be these stupid ass niggas. We have to understand that we are supreme, superior people. If you do not understand by now the economic knowledge, the economic understanding that I just gave you, then you are a fucking fool and you are stupid. And you just have to accept that. If you do not know the education, if you do not know these things, then you are a sitting duck by all means. You are unintelligent. And that's not to be an Al-Kabunakian. Not a fucking nigga with some sense. Because that's all a fucking Al-Kabunakian is. A nigga with some fucking sense, the utmost sense. And you have to understand that. It's to build yourself from the ground upwards and have the knowledge of how to work your United States Constitution. I wouldn't be surprised if Donald Trump took this country. He go public, announce on every major mass news platform that this country is mine and no one is going to do anything about it. And from now on, you are under the dictation of Donald J. Trump. And if he makes it back to his bed to sleep that night without being killed, then he has successfully brought the United States of America into a dictation. I wouldn't be surprised if this cracker did that. And what a nigga's gonna do? We have to learn the knowledge, the wisdom, and understanding of spiritualism. Now, y'all know God Molecular. I go in on spiritualism. But this is a revolution in economic discussion. This revolutionary economic discussion is imperative for you to have, my beautiful black people. It's important. You have to stop thinking this sense of social morale. You have to know that there is a revolution. A revolt has already started. They're telling people right now that you should be in at a curfew. There's curfews that are set all around the country. If you're caught at a certain time, there's going to be legal action. Yet and still, people are all about breaking these curfews. That is a revolution. That is the beginning of a revolution. You are in the middle of a revolution. And us as black people, we have to do for ourselves. Because we are the greatest revolutionaries. And time shows us. You look at Marcus Garvey. His brother was a supreme superior. Imperialism in a fashionist way. He created fascism. Marcus Garvey. He created this concept that crackers like Adolf Hitler took to the extreme. Benito Mussolini, they took to the extreme. Marcus Garvey created this in modern times, in classical time, the classical era, the modern era. Your ancestor is a great ancestor. Here in the United States of America, us black Americans, so-called Americans, but us over here in this region, we have to study those who've been on our soil in order to truly gain understanding of what we need to know, my beautiful black people. So this is why it's important to look at Marcus Garvey in the UNIA movement, the United Negro Improvement Association. It's important to look at Marcus Garvey and to understand what this brother did, because he did it here, right here on fucking American soil. He was a black ass Negro. 11 million strong. This is why I debate with these Moorish brothers, you know, brothers with sense, but you're a fucking Moor. You're talking about Noble Drew Ali and the Prophet and the Moorish Temple of Science. You want to debate this whole law. You want to debate the law, do everything by law. That's important, yes. But you don't have a militia. Where's your supreme superior militia? Where is this? You don't have it. So you have these brothers and sisters, you know, that call themselves Moors. They want to sit here and tell you that you're not black, or you're not a Negro, or you're not a nigger. But they have yet to do what Marcus Garvey has done. 11 million members strong. This brother was a great mass movement. This is before Noble Drew Ali and the Moorish Temple of Science. This is the biggest movement. If you read up on Marcus Garvey, there were Muslims, the Muslims of the Moorish Temple of Science, Moorish Science Temple. There were Muslims that showed up, followers of Noble Drew Ali, that would show up to Liberty Hall where Marcus Garvey would speak. They all supported him. They were followers of him. They said that anything was to happen to him, they were going to raise hell. He lifted spirits, my beautiful black people. And he did it here in America. Under the name of a black-ass Negro. So this is why it's important to look at the production of results, because he produced the biggest results under calling himself a black-ass Negro and said I was black. And I have my own flag, red, black, and green. Red for the blood, black for me as a black-ass, dark-ass nigger, and green for the land. I proclaim myself provisional principal provisional president, I'm sorry. Marcus Garvey proclaimed himself the provisional president of Africa. And they inseed it. They ingested it. They received that. You have to understand that revolutions are important to how you're able to capitalize and things of that nature. A lot of people talk about this tax system. I love to see when people say, I have the right to do this because I pay my taxes, right? Which is the stupidest shit that you could have ever said out of your goddamn mouth. Paying your taxes just make you a worker for the IRS. You work for the IRS. You decided to use the money that's created by private companies. You decide to use a product that's created by a private company known as money. It's cash, some way, shape, form, or fashion. This money that you create, you decided to use it. And now since you decided to use it, you have to be supervised. So I can't have an IRS agent right there with you standing in your face for every dollar that you sell, every sense of income that you bring in, every product that you sell, every money, every form of money that you bring in. I can't sit there and send an IRS agent to look at every single last transaction that you make. So now I have to hold you accountable for reporting that information to me. This is what the IRS is. Just the other day I heard a rumor that I was the sister that set out to, create rumors or whatnot. But I was heard that I was in IRS trouble. I was in trouble with the IRS, right? That's what's to account for my leave. Because I was in trouble with the IRS, which anyone who's around me knows that is a 100% lie, because I am God, right? As in Al-Kadunakian Supreme Commander, I am the utmost Amun-Ra. I am the utmost, most high, supreme being, Lord of Lords, King of Kings, ruler of all darkness. Meaning that I can play by your rules and still form a revolution that is going to overthrow every rule that you make. In fact, it interests me to play by your rules. Because once I overthrow your fucking rules, I did it because you allowed me. And that's the greatest door to walk through, you know? You ever try to walk through a closed door? But imagine a motherfucker open it for you and you walk right through it. That's a lot easier. A hell of a lot easier to do. My beautiful black people. I'm a true revolutionary for my beautiful people. You have to listen to how I speak. Listen to the things that I speak on. Listen to why I speak about them. I am a true revolutionary. And I understand how to create mass social movements. It has to start somewhere. Someone has to hear the knowledge. Someone has to hear the knowledge. They just have to take the time out of their day to listen, to pay attention. And once they've decided to tune in, they will continue to pay attention, my beautiful black people. Because I know what needs to be heard. And this information that I have given you today needs to be heard. It has nothing to do whether I want to cause destruction to someone or destroy someone or not. It just needs to be heard. People want to hear it. It's the most sought after information. Brother told me the other day They kill brothers like you. How are you still alive? Because I'm surrounded by my Alakanetics, my Al-Kabunakian people. These are people that I have programmed their minds, not even programmed. I set their minds free of programming. And they decided to protect me with their lives. Beautiful black scholars have everyone from ex-military brothers and sisters to ex-officers, ex-politicians. These people have decided to be of the utmost loyalty to me and to protect me by all means, even if that means taking me off the radar. So if this rumors were true, and if I was thrown into this place of incarceration, then my Al-Kabunakians would have gotten me the fuck out of that place. You understand me? Rather than me blowing up the side of this damn building, coming up and holding up this place with guns and weaponry, and come to get me out their damn cells. This is what my people would do. So this is why no one could kill me. I have power beyond that, my brother. I move planets, universes, stars, atoms, molecules, energy. I'm a compassionate brother. My beautiful black people. And that's important when it comes to understanding a revolution. All of these motherfuckers could stage a revolution. They can look like they got more than what they really are. They can have 200-300 people, like I'm looking at this NFAC brother, and which is the Not Fucking Around Coalition amongst our people. Beautiful, beautiful black people that have gotten together and changed minds of a lot of black individuals, right? But I'm looking at these people, right? And I know that this revolution that they are attempting to stage, this revolution has no true purpose but to do the exact same thing that the last revolution did. So the leader is more than likely out to gain self, right? But as the leader of the Al-Kabunakian people, my people know of my compassion, my understanding. They have a great understanding of my knowledge. They're educated. They have the Al-Kabunakian education. My people are educated. They're intelligent to know that this is the real revolution. And it starts with spiritualism. It starts with spiritual truth and understanding. Something that cannot be, what did it say? You can't poke holes. My beautiful black people. So this is why we are the few Al-Kabunakians, 3,600 members strong. But we are the strongest of the strong. We are the few, but we are the strong. And we are growing, my beautiful black people. So this is why black people, we have to know shit. We have to understand certain shit. We have to get out of this social sense of self. You know? The sense of morale. The moral compass is what's destroying us. And we have to listen to the goddamn truth. And what you just heard about me explain to you on the economic level, there's so many of us that do not understand these things. There's so many of us that do not know this information, that if we knew it, if we had it, we would then begin to set ourselves up for greatness. If we only heard someone who addressed the economy, who addressed economics on a way that isn't going to charge you an arm and a leg, and they're not going to make it complex. They're going to get to the point. That's what I did in this audio. Now, my beautiful black people, you can take it for whatever the fuck it's worth and not listen to me and think because I'm not charging you an arm and a leg that is not important information. And I'm giving it away for free. But if you're someone who truly wants to get yourself into a greater position, a true Al-Kabunakian, for one, give yourself 3 salutes. Ready? Once you give yourself 3 salutes, you pause and rewind and you study this audio. Pause, rewind, study it, research the things that I've spoken on. Things like real estate differ. So don't take me as someone who's deceived you if my experience is different than what your experience was. But you still was on the same wavelength. Because I could be in Florida, or I can be in Massachusetts, Kansas, and you can be in New York, or Georgia, or California. Which all have different legal ties, but for the most part, this information that's inside of this audio is a common sense, learning common stock. It's a common sense. It's like common stock. Having this common sense make you powerful, my beautiful black Al-Kabunakian. Build you a plan. Build you a financial understanding. You don't have to go on YouTube and this, that, and you don't have to do any of that. Build yourself this way. Get into T-bills, buying T-bills. Spending $100,000. Once you do this real estate, wholesale real estate so much, you start investing, you start getting a lot of money. You start buying treasury bills, T-bills. You go to treasurydirect.gov and you click on T-bills, right? Treasurydirect.gov will take you to a website. It's a .gov. And you click on T-bills. And you learn T-bills because there's a federal discount on T-bills that allow the compound interest on the T-bills to be 10% of what you decide to buy them in. And that 10% is paid to you every 4 weeks, which is a bond that matures every 4 weeks. It's a government bond, T-bills. Buying T-bills, you can take the earned interest on these T-bills, right? And you can go into buying commodities, going into stock options, going into options, corporate gambling, which is pretty much, let's say we both bought to the table $1,500. I bought $1,500 to a table. I sat on the table. You bought $1,500 to a table, and you sat on the table. And something happens within the option of this contract, right? Something happened within this contract that allow my $1,500 to become only $1,000. Once it become only $1,000, your $1,500 is still $1,500. But in order for me to stay in the game, because I'm in a contract, I have to pay you $500. and bring the value of my $1,000 back up to $1,500. I have to pay the loss of that $500 that I bought, the loss of the $500 of the $1,500 that I bought to the table. I have to pay that loss to you. That's learning calls and puts on options, learning trading commodities. Do you know about the foreign exchange, trading currencies? You know? I speak on currencies, price interest points, learning pips, learning what pips are, learning how to use a little small amount, buying major lots with margin, right? Margin is taking $1,000 and being able to use it like it's $10,000. You go into the Forex, you start to buy lots, and each and every last pip that jumps, you make 10% of what you bought. If I bought $10,000 worth of lots, if I bought a $10,000 lot, or if I had $100,000, I use margin, which takes my $100,000 into $10,000 that I'm able to use, and I use that $10,000 to purchase a standard lot. In this currency, this foreign exchange, the Forex, exchanging currencies. If I use that $10,000 to buy a standardized lot, now each and every last pip on the euro versus the USD, I make $1,000. Or I make $100. Either or, you make a profit from just $1,000 investment. Now every time one pip, which is the price interest point on the euro and the USD, because I'm using a $10,000 margin, every time a pip strikes or it goes up a pip, I get $100 profit. So let's say in 1 second, in an instant, the USD versus the euro go from 1.20800 to 1.20300. I'm sorry. Let's say this pip goes from 1.2030, right? It goes from 1.2030. Don't ask me, does that mean $1.30? No, let's just say 1.20, right? 1.20, if it became 1.21, that's 1 pip. It went up one pip. This is just an example. This is just an example on how to learn how to trade Forex, right? The foreign exchange, which is very lucrative, more lucrative than the stock market. Understanding the Forex, knowing what the Forex is, way more lucrative than the stock market. But if it jumps up that 1 pip, my $10,000 makes $100 profit, right? So it went from 1.20 to 1.21. I've been speaking for 2 hours now, so you have to excuse me if I, stumble every now and then. But that pip jumps up that one. Now let's say it goes from 1.20. The market jumps up to 1.30. That's 10 pips, right? So now I just earned $1,000 because every pip I earned $100 and it went up 10 pips. And this could happen in a second on the Forex, right? And each and every last second, you can make that $1,000 over and over and over and over and over and over again. You can do that. You can continue to do that for 24/6, 24 hours, 6 days a week, as opposed to the stock market only being open 24/5. I'm sorry, not 24/5, but from 9 a.m. to 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. 9:30 depends on the intermediary, the broker. But this is exchanging currency. That's how the Forex, trading foreign exchange, exchanging currency. This is how it works. This is just trading one currency, the euro versus the USD. You can make money. And as you learn the Forex, you can learn more ways to make money. Like using the Japanese yen to loop yourself in to even making money on a loss, making a profit on a loss, right? Having this understanding economically makes you powerful. But my beautiful black guys and goddesses, I have to end this audio. But I hope that you have at least learned something within this audio that will help you become a better person. As an Al-Kabunakian, you know, if you use this information whatsoever, you are an Al-Kabunakian. But I thank you guys for tuning in. I thank you guys for joining me. It's God Molecular, here to spread the religion of Mofadai, which is the religion of no religion, here to dismantle and disassemble all religion by the year 2034. I thank y'all for tuning in. I come as Amen, reincarnated this new age, that of the 226th dynasty, which stemmed from King Solomon, who had a descendant by the name of Haile Selassie I, who occupied that of the 225th dynasty. Three salutes. Ready? Go. And that is in tribute to Amen, as he was known as the Most High and the most logical being or deity. At his time, I come as him reincarnated to usher in the new age of Aquarius, also known as the age of the Six, as we have transpired from the age of the Pisces, also known as the age of the Seven. And that is as of August 21st, 2017, titled Day of the Great American Eclipse. But I thank y'all for tuning in. I thank y'all for joining. It's God Molecular. Peace.